You ever wonder what it was like to be in the pit of Hades? Well, that's what it can be like if you live in Las Vegas in the summer. Well, it's not always that way. Stick around, let's find out a little bit more about living in Las Vegas, especially if you're trying to move here and haven't been here before. Well, we haven't met before. My name is Eric. And if you want to learn a little bit more about living, eating, sleeping, and playing in wonderful Sin City, the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, that's what this channel is all about. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about the real estate market here and need some help, call, text, email. My information is down below in the info section. And of course, I have a pinned comment for you to click on. Okay, we all know this is a desert, but it is a wonderful desert. What is the weather like here in Las Vegas? You may be thinking, you know, hey, I've been thinking about moving to Vegas. I'm tired of the winters here in Chicago or Detroit or someplace like that. Let me tell you, when I arrived here permanently in the summer, after picking up our cars from the port, when I got to the place we were staying, I opened the door and that heat, oh my goodness, the heat in July hit me. You know what I did? I shut the door. I'd never felt heat like that in a long time. Last time I felt heat like that, I was in the deserts in Saudi Arabia. But yeah, it was hot. I'm not gonna tell you you're gonna get used to it, but it's something that becomes an acquired taste. Let's just say you will definitely be able to fry an egg on the sidewalk here. But guess what? That's only about 4.5 months out of the year. What's the weather like for the rest of the year? It's actually pretty darn good. Wintertime, if you notice, been watching this channel for a long time, you'll see I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt. I wear the same shirts all the time because even in the wintertime, unless you're from the tropics or something and you just can't stand the cold weather, are very mild. The spring and fall, oh my goodness, best times of year. Like right now, hold on, I'm looking down. It's 86 degrees. Now, I'll be very honest. I mean, it's April right now, overcast day, but this is normal, about 86 degrees. Perfect, great weather. And I would say 4 months out of the year are perfect. You're not using any air conditioning, you're not using any gas, your bills are low. Wintertime, bills are not bad. I'm talking, let's say you had an apartment that's got gas heating or something, you're not even breaking $75. Or I'm just guessing. I don't have an apartment. Summertime, you're gonna be paying some money for some gas. Now, as far as snow, you ain't got to worry about that too much here. But you're still going to be able to go skiing. We got mountains around us. We're in a valley. Up north, we're going to have Mount Charleston. There's actually skiing up there in the wintertime. Once we get a little bit north here, I'll go see if we still have some snow up there. But it's about 20 degrees cooler up there. Even during the summertime, you can go up there and be like 85 degrees. So that's why people live up there. Some of the other neat parts about living in the Las Vegas area, which of course includes North Las Vegas and Henderson, is you do not have, other than the heat, I have to keep putting that out there, that heat, dry heat or not, is you don't have the other stuff that you got to deal with in other parts of the country. You don't have earthquakes here. Okay, yes, we have earthquakes. Believe it or not, if you go and look at an actual earthquake map, we do have earthquakes, but you don't feel them. They're deep earthquakes. So if you're to go and look, we have several earthquakes a year, but you will never feel them. You don't have to deal with hurricanes. No hurricanes. We ain't got tornadoes. We ain't got ice storms. We do have occasional flooding, although it's been a while. I think there's only one time I can remember ever having flooding that we had to worry about, and it was when I was still on active duty. I was stationed up at Creech, and it rained so hard, they had told us we would have to take the long way around the mountains to get to Creech, and it was like we need to leave out 2 or 3 hours early, and then they said, you know, okay, you don't have to worry about it, but you know, that was like the one time. So we do get rain here. It's a few inches per year. As of this recording, it's been about 230 days since we've had any noticeable precipitation. As a matter of fact, I put out a little short slash, somebody, trolling. Well, what do you expect? It's a desert. Little they know, we actually get rain here. As a matter of fact, we actually have, farms here and everything. Down in Boulder City, which is just a little bit southeast of Henderson, Las Vegas area, which is where Lake Mead is and the Hoover Dam. actually used to be, believe it or not, the cantaloupe capital of the world. So the conditions there were actually ideal for growing cantaloupes. It's not that anymore, but it actually used to be that for a while. So yeah, we actually have farms here and everything. And yeah, Las Vegas was actually founded here because of the springs. Now let's get to the water situation, because I mean, it sticks out like an 800-pound gorilla. Yeah, it's brown. It's very brown. A lot of it's self-inflicted because of, in my opinion, stupidity. There's actually a lot of water. We got Lake Mead, and if you look at all kinds of news reports, you'll see, you know, the big white bathtub ring around Lake Mead because it's receding, not getting all the water that we used to get. Well, first of all, we don't get most of our water from Lake Mead. We get a very minuscule amount of that water. Most of it goes to other states, mainly California. As a matter of fact, of the water that we're supposed to be able to get from all of our sources, we have become so water efficient now, we're only using 20%. Are you listening? 20% of the water we're allocated. And most of that is because they've had a war on water and grass and everything else. I don't know if I've ever put this out on video. I have grass front and rear because I grew up with grass, and every house I've ever owned has had grass. And I bought a house because it had grass, and I had a water leak. A water company came out, and the first thing out of the guy's mouth is, have you considered getting rid of this grass? Nothing about the leak, nothing about helping me. Have you considered getting rid of this grass? They consider it ornamental. Well, one of the reasons this place gets hot is because of the grass, but we know them tearing out all the grass. They've been tearing up all the grass in this place because, you know, they want to be more water efficient. If we're down to 20% of our allocation, that's pretty darn efficient. And all the water goes to California, but they're not asking them to be efficient. That's another story. Again, a lot of people who are moving here outside of the people moving from California are moving from the Midwest because they're tired of shoveling snow. They're tired of the winter storms. They're tired of ice on the roads. We don't have any of that stuff here in Las Vegas. What we have are nice, clean, dry roads. Another video, I ain't gonna lie, you can kind of hear it as I'm driving because the roads are, road repair, you know, they got to worry about that. But as far as the weather goes, other than those 4.5 months, Vegas has some great weather, mild winters, great springs, great falls. No, we don't have the foliage of New England. We don't have that many trees. And to be honest, they have gone a little bit crazy. As a matter of fact, right before I started recording this, had to get some lady off the phone. They're doing some survey. I don't know what kind of real survey it was, if it was real. Too many surveys are fake now about water usage here in Las Vegas. But she wanted 12 minutes of my time. You know, 12 minutes becomes 20 and 30 because they always lie. They're nothing but salespeople. You know my opinion on salespeople if you've been watching this. But anyway, I mean, I like it here. About the only thing that you have to worry about, it doesn't matter, summer, spring, fall, winter, humidity. There is none. It is dry. It is dry as a bone. There is no humidity here. You are going to use lotion. I can remember one time I went home to visit, and it was like after about a day, I realized something. Wait a minute, what's up with my skin? You know what was up with my skin? It was moist. You will need to use a lot of good lotion here. In reality, you're probably gonna have to get some nice thick cream, like Cetaphil or something. You're gonna need a lot of good lip balm. I remember the first time I came here for house hunting, because I wasn't used to having to use a lot of lip balm. My lips cracked. I mean, like cracked so bad, they were like bleeding. So it's gonna go beyond like licking your lips. That's not gonna do it when you get here. So get your Blistex out, your chapstick, just prepare for that. You're gonna need it because your lips are gonna get dry. So that's one of the things you need to prepare for when moving to Las Vegas because of how dry the weather is here. Summertime, wintertime, it doesn't matter, it is dry. So be prepared for that. But other than that dryness, and other than that, you know, the summertime with that heat, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna like it. That's why we have so many retirees here. It's good for you. And to be honest, with that summertime heat, everybody's got air conditioning. You're just gonna get used to just going from air conditioning place to air conditioning place. You know, your car, you're not gonna be able to survive in a car that your air conditioning goes out, you're gonna go get your air conditioning fixed. Same thing for your house. It's dangerous here if your air conditioning doesn't fix. Now, I'll tell you an air conditioning story. One time, sold a guy a house. I kept telling him, you need to change the utilities over. You change the utilities over. I think I've told this a few times before, and he didn't do it. He didn't change them over. We go, hand keys over to him, and all the utilities are out. And I'm like, "Did you change utilities over?" He's like, "No, I didn't want the seller using my utilities." And I'm like, "That wouldn't have been much of anything." He's like, "I didn't want him using my utilities." And because the utilities got turned off, the floors had curled up because of the heat. It was the middle of the summer, and I'm like, look at all this damage that was done. And then he had to pay reconnection charges and everything because it got turned off instead of turned over. And all he could say was, "But he didn't use my electricity." I find it a funny story. All that damage was done. He had to pay hundreds of dollars in reconnection fees for everything, but somebody didn't use his utilities. Just the thoughts that people have. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this car video. I'm doing more of them. That way I'm being more efficient. And again, if you have something you want me to explore, I know I've done videos before on weather, but it's been about 4 years. I think it was even before the pandemic, the last time I did one. Let me know. That way I can get it all put together, do one of these videos I'm driving, be a little more, real with you guys and get some content out that you may want. So again, my name is Eric. If we haven't met before, by now, hopefully you know me if you come this far. And if you want to reach out to me on something, especially if you are looking for a new home to buy here, call, text, email. Information is down below in the first pinned comment tab. And you know what I'm going to say. All my military brothers and sisters, Alpha, Mike, Foxtrot, and all the rest of you lovely folks. You may not have served, but I still love you. You always reach out to me. We're going to keep them lights on for you.